Welcome back to the Dopest Show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer. This is Sasha. I spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. I've got a lot of stories about the stupid stuff I did to get put in prison. I've got a whole lot of stories, too, about the crazy stuff that happened while I was in prison. And God forbid you end up in prison. You won't have to make some of the same mistakes I made. So, the poop bandit. They didn't call him that. They went ahead and called him that bandit. But anyway, this was when I was in jail. So I quit drug court. I did drug court twice. First time it was for a misdemeanor. I should have never been in it. It was a wild situation, different story. But I quit it, did 6 weeks in jail. Got time served, no probation, no nothing. First time offender. So I was in Roanoke County Jail. And when I was in Roanoke County Jail, that's when this took place. So the pod that I was in, Roanoke County Jail is not a big jail. Once the regional jail opened up, which holds about 1,200 people. It's got a lot of pods there. You know, it's got all the way up to A, B, C, D, E, and F ranges, and each block has 4 pods that hold 50 men. So it's a tremendous sized jail. But before that, Roanoke County was really overflooded. They had people not even in cells, just laying in the floor along the wall around the perimeter. That's how crowded it got. It was just, I mean, inhumane living conditions to put that many people in that amount of area. But anyway, this was a smaller unit. They've got I think it's 4A and 4B. I think it was 4B this is. It's only like a 30-man pod. So it's a smaller pod, interesting bunch of people that were in there. And it's like Mean Girls for men. If anybody has anything different about them, it's like high school. People are going to pick on that person. It's real sad because this guy's actually an incredibly nice guy. He's like a rocker type dude with long hair and a goatee. Just the nicest dude, and he's like a kid. Like, he is like the only person there younger than me. I believe he was younger than me. I was like 19 at the time. I think he was 18. Everybody seems younger than me if they were close to my age because, I was more mature than they were. A lot of kids that I was around acted stupid. Sasha, come here. But anyway, so basically here's how this worked out. Anytime that you go to recreation, the regional jail had terrible recreation, but Roanoke County Jail, if you went to get your hair cut, they take you in the middle part, they take you in the elevator, and you walk over there. They don't even cuff you when you do that, which is unusual. Regional jail, they cuff you everywhere, but they take you to the library, and that's where they cut your hair. Odd place to cut it, I know. If you go to AA meetings, NA meetings, any type of stuff like that, church, or if you go to recreation, which they do an hour every day, you have to go, leave the unit. Sometimes people get COs to lock their cells. Sometimes they just trust that people aren't stupid enough to be stealing. But there were people stealing in this unit, a couple douchebag people in particular. But anyway, the story that started happening with this, the guy who I was talking about, the rocker dude, and the last time I saw him, I ended up meeting him again outside after I got out, which there's another story I'll tell on another day. But him and his brother played with a Ouija board, and you talk about some freaky stuff that I can't explain, like something follows people. There was some stuff happened that I can't explain that happened with this dude and his brother that freaks me out to this day. But anyway, so one day he's gone out and he gets back to the unit and he comes out and he starts cussing up a storm. Who did it? Who did it? This is me. And he actually goes to the intercom and he tries to get the guards to run back the cameras to see who was in his cell, which is kind of like a no-no. It's kind of this weird thing, if you get the guards to look back, you're kind of telling in a way. So that kind of put a little bit of scorn on them and stuff anyway. And we couldn't figure out what happened. Somebody steal your stuff? And finally he just came out and he said, I'm not going to say the word. He didn't say poop, but somebody pooped on my toilet. Somebody pooped in your toilet. Why wouldn't they just use their toilet? No, they pooped on my toilet. In jail, there's a toilet sink combo. It's a, steel thing. It's got a sink at the top. Little toilet comes off of it. It's steel. And somebody had pooped on the back of it, at the back, like on the steel. They had let the hot, stinky one right at the back. And when people found that out, they started laughing like crazy at him. And it became like this joke that just kept on going and kept on going on. So anyway, nothing happens for a week or so. Everything goes back to normal. And then he gets back from rec another day. He comes out and he's like, "You guys, this is really not funny. This is not funny. It's not cool. It's disgusting. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this." And I don't know who it is at this point, but it's happened twice. And, you know, he's freaking out. Everybody's laughing because somebody pooped on the back of his toilet, left a big old turd on the back of his toilet, right? So nothing happens for a few days, and then he comes out the next time and he goes absolutely berserk. And people were whispering, and we still couldn't figure out who did it, which, you know, he lived upstairs. And it's kind of like everybody does stuff downstairs. Upstairs, like there's a bend around the corner where it's not as easy to see at his cell. So somebody is timing it perfectly. They're sneaking in and out of there and pooping. And I mean, I don't know if they were just holding it so then they could go. But he comes out this time, and he's like throwing chairs and stuff, raising all kinds of hell. And I end up talking to this one dude, and this one guy comes up to me and the few guys, and he's like, "I don't know who did it the last few times, but I did it this time." And apparently he was getting in on the joke too. So I don't know who did it the first time, but this guy decided to get on the joke and sneak in his room and poop the third time. The guy who did it, actually, there's something funny about him. The first time I ever went to jail, I was on Suboxone, and I didn't need it. Like, I actually went to the Suboxone clinic just to get Suboxone to sell, so I'd have extra money. Like, I did it as like a business plan type deal. And they allowed me to take it in the Roanoke County Jail. And, you know, everybody, he was up on that part, and he was the person who noticed it. But, like, the guards, like, got me. They thought I was, like, trying to cheek it. They didn't know, like, you were supposed to leave it under your tongue or whatever. But anyway, this guy was there for that, and he'd known me since then. And he was actually in jail with me a number of times. There's a couple fight stories I have from him at the regional jail. But anyway, so nothing happens for a few more days. Like, every time this happens, he goes to the guards and, like, tries to, you know, raise hell about it and everything else. He for the most part is locking his door. He goes to rec every day, shoot basketball, goes, you know, so he's getting the guards to lock his door. And then I guess he figures it's blown over. Over the loudspeaker one day, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, there was a guard. Even, like, everybody was in on this joke. Like I said, what I was getting around at earlier about Mean Girls for Men and all that, this guy was a really nice guy. He had long hair, but I don't guess he showered too frequently and smelled a little bit like an onion. Had really bad acne. I don't think I mentioned that. So since he was different, since he was young as could be, and since he gave a big reaction, that's why people did all this extra stuff. But anyway, over the loudspeaker the one day, a CO got on there and says, "The shit bandits struck again." And he runs to his room, and he comes out, and and everybody's rolling. At this point, he's given such a reaction that it keeps happening. It just, as long as I was in there, it kept happening. People kept going to his room when he was not in there, and I guess they're kind of like having to, like, hover above it and pooping on the back of his toilet, on the little steel part on the back. It's happened like the entirety of the 6 weeks I was in there. Like, every bit of it. It did not quit. But when the guard came over, oh man, when the guard got in on the joke and said it, everybody just busted out laughing. And some people get a mark on them to where they become the joke of the pod. He was it. He was it. He became the joke of the pod. And it's kind of like one of those, he had given such a reaction. Like, if he just had never said something the first time and just cleaned it up and just never said something, they probably would have let it go. But I mean, how do you really handle something like that when there's a mysterious pooper leaving a big steamy one on the back of your toilet at random? Like, who does that? I, I know the one guy who I knew he did it one time, but it sounded like people were just getting in on it. Like the first couple times, I don't know who it was, but random people just started getting in on this joke, pooping on the back of his toilet. So anyway, that's about it for this one. It was just a stupid little story about the shit bandit that kept striking. But the CEO literally came over the loudspeaker, and he's a CEO that had a reputation, might or might not have had a little been a fan of the, knocking a few back, drinking a good bit, and one of the CEOs probably mentioned something about it, but it was a CEO that was just slick with the mouth anyway, and he loved getting in and hollering that over the speaker. So that was a funny short one I figured I'd share with y'all. So anyway, if you like the video, if you've watched it up in this point, press the like button if you feel like I've earned it. But if not, 10 minutes and 49 seconds of your life you will never get back. For that, I'm truly sorry, but I hope you did. At least if you didn't like it, this was a short one, but it was a funny one I figured I'd share with you. Y'all have a good one.